Auzu billahi minesh-shaytanir-rajim. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Assalamu alaikum, viewers of IMAM HUSSEIN TV. Welcome to tonight's live show. I really do appreciate the viewings that we are getting, our global audience from all over the world, Europe, America, Africa, Asia, parts of Sweden, south of France. We've covered shows on Sayyidah Fatima Zahra, Assalamu alaikum, al-Banin, peace be upon her, Sayyidah Zainab, Assalamu alaikum, and tonight we're continuing the topic on inspirational women. The topic tonight is on Kulthum continuing the theme, as it were, on women, because there is a vast need, as it were, on discussions on women. Holy women, we've talked about Bibi Maryam, the Virgin Mary, previously last week, and so tonight we continue the theme, as I mentioned, on Kulthum being the main figure tonight. Joining with me tonight, we have Dr. Ammar Nakshwani. Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Ammar.
Assalamu wa rahmatullah.
It's a great pleasure and honor to have you once again.
Thank you, and hopefully continuing a great series.
Yes, this thematic approach that we're continuing today. We've had shows, as I mentioned, on Fatima Zahra, Assalamu alaikum, al-Banin, the Virgin Mary. Last week, we contrasted her life, as it were. Sayyidah Zainab, Assalamu alaikum. And now tonight, we're looking at Kulthum, Assalamu alaikum, the youngest daughter of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam and Sayyidah Nisa al-Alameen, Assalamu alaikum. So just without further ado, I'd like to kick off the live topic tonight, inshallah. So now, we often hear about Sayyidah Zainab, Assalamu alaikum, known also as al-Mathayib, but we do not really hear much about her younger sister, the youngest child of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam and Fatima Zahra, Assalamu alaikum, known as Sayyidah Kulthum, Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon her. So why is this so?
Well, I think it's about time that somebody spoke about the biography of Kulthum. Many Muharrams and many Safar lectures that happen in our mosques hardly mention her, or hardly give her at least an hour of a discussion.
Not at all.
There may be a mention, for example, of her great personality and her endeavors, her bravery, especially in the courts of Ibn Ziyad and Yazid. But you are hard pressed to find out there a lecture on the biography of this great personality. I remember a few years ago, Sheikh Ja'far Ladak wrote the book, which I think is a very useful book for many out there if they want to read about Kulthum, because it goes into historical depth in trying to analyze this personality, but also there's a spiritual element in maintaining a relationship with this personality. But you're absolutely right that there are many out there who will know about Sayyidah Zainab alayhi salam.
Yes.
And not many who will know about Kulthum. And so many ask the question, why? Why is it that we mention Sayyidah Zainab alayhi salam and not Kulthum? Firstly, there is absolutely no problem for the Ahl al-Bayt alayhi salam having Sayyidah Zainab being mentioned more than Sayyidah Kulthum. Sayyidah Zainab, at the end of the day, her heroics, the attributes that she has, both before the 10th of Muharram and after the 10th of Muharram, I think even her sister would have been proud to be in the shade of somebody like Zainab alayhi salam. Aqilat al-Talibiyin is a profound figure. And I think when people come and say, well, why is there no mention of Kulthum as much as Sayyidah Zainab? Is there anything wrong with having too much Zainab being mentioned? As the Ahl al-Bayt alayhi salam, when you're looking at Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam says that, truly my auntie Zainab is a scholar without being taught.
Subhanallah.
One who understands without anyone simplifying for her. You know, so on the first level, I have to make clear that this is not, it's not a shame that we don't discuss Kulthum as much as Sayyidah Zainab. I think Sayyidah Kulthum would be proud of us discussing, and I don't think we've discussed Sayyidah Zainab enough. That's on the first level.
Sure.
Other reasons, naturally, I think anyone who's studied Islamic history will know that very little exists on some of the personalities, especially from the members of the Prophet's family.
Yeah, sure.
You know, you're hard pressed to find lots of literature on some greats and their early lives. You know, I don't think there's much out there in the primary sources on the likes of Abul Fadl al-Abbas, for example, alayhi salam. There's not much on, for example, Abdullah bin Ja'far al-Tayyar. Then you have people, you know, such as the younger ones who may not have been present on the 10th of Muharram. There's not much out there about them as well.
Yes, yes,
so, you know, this idea that there should be a lot of information on Kulthum out there. No, the reality of early Islamic history is I think that there was a political edge to the way some people were remembered and others were forgotten. If you were related to a lady who spoke out against the hierarchy, you're not going to get much mention in history.
True.
If you were, for example, somebody related to the hierarchy, then half of the religion is taken from your mouth. So that's the second. Thirdly, I must admit that there are scholars who didn't even believe that Kulthum existed.
Right. Because
they say that you have Sayyidah Zainab alayhi salam, known as Zainab al-Kubra. Sometimes Kulthum is referred to as Zainab al-Sughra.
Right, the small.
And Ahl al-Bayt alayhi salam, the family of the Prophet, have this habit where they'll stick to one name. They don't mind naming Zainab 4 times.
Right.
Or naming Hussein or Ali a number of times. Like, you know, Imam al-Hussein's famous line that if I had 1,000 sons, I'll name them all Ali. And if I had 1,000 daughters, I'll name them all Fatima. And I think when you're looking at the biographies of the Ahl al-Bayt alayhi salam, and you're looking at some of the names of their children, you've got Zainab al-Kubra, Zainab al-Wusta, Zainab al-Sughra, Zainab al-Ukhra.
Right.
So not only do you have the elder Zainab, you've got the younger Zainab. Just in case there's not enough Zainabs, let's mention the middle Zainab. And just in case you've heard of the elder and the younger and the middle, the other Zainab.
Right.
Now, some said that Zainab al-Sughra, which is the title for Kulthum in certain opinions. Some said no. The mentioning of the title Kulthum, for example, that may be another name for Sayyidah Zainab alayhi salam.
I see.
And that every time Kulthum is discussed in history, that actually is Sayyidah Zainab alayhi salam.
Right.
So there was an opinion in certain circles that Imam Ali alayhi salam and Fatima al-Zahra had Imam al-Hassan, Imam al-Hussein and Sayyidah Zainab and the miscarried child. Now, one renowned scholar and arguably one of the most renowned scholars in Shi'ism, and that is Shaykh al-Mufid.
Right.
Shaykh al-Mufid actually mentions that no, there was another daughter. So you didn't just have Sayyidah Zainab alayhi salam, there's another daughter and that is Kulthum. So there are different reasons as to why she is not mentioned as much as we would want her to be mentioned. I think these would suffice.
Right. So in terms of her biography, Sayyidina, she is the 4th of the children of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam and Fatima Zahra alayhi salam. So you have Hasnain alayhi salam, you have Sayyidah Zainab, and younger than that, you have Kulthum alayhi salam. Where was she born? What are the narrations?
She's born in Medina. Imam Ali alayhi salam and Fatima Zahra, of course, undertake the hijrah, the migration from Mecca to Medina, and they get married in the 2nd year after hijrah. Now, Imam al-Hassan is born in the 3rd year after hijrah, and Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam is born in the 4th year after hijrah. And Sayyidah Zainab alayhi salam is born in the 5th year after hijrah. And then with Kulthum, there's a debate. And I would say the debate ranges from 6 after Hijrah to 9 after Hijrah. So there are some who say that Kulthum was born in the 6th year after Hijrah. That Imam Ali alayhi salam and Fatima Zahra alayhi salam, they they have these children one after the other. There are others who say no, there is a gap between Sayyidah Zainab and Kulthum of 3 years.
Right.
If there is that gap, then Kulthum would be born in the 9th year after Hijrah.
Hijrah, yes.
And she would therefore be a couple of years of age when her mother Fatima Zahra dies.
Okay.
So that is normally seen. Of course, these historical dates and so on, there are differences of opinion. But I would say the most common opinion is between 6 AH and 9 AH as to the birth of Kulthum.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the name Sayyidah Kulthum, was it common in Arabia? I mean, for that matter, also along with her siblings' names, Imam Hassan al-Islam, Imam Hussein al-Islam, Sayyidah Zainab, salam, were all of these names common in Arabia?
Well, Imam al-Hassan alayhi salam, there was a mountain called al-Hassan.
Right.
And Imam al-Hussein, nobody was named Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. Nobody was given that name. Hussein before him. Similar to Nabi Yahya alayhi salam. You see, Nabi Yahya and Imam al-Hussein have similarities. Nabi Yahya, for example, was born after a 6-month pregnancy.
Right.
Imam al-Hussein was born after a 6-month pregnancy.
Okay.
And Nabi Yahya, as the Quran says, nobody was given that name before him. And likewise, Imam al-Hussein, nobody was given that name before him. Zainab alayhi salam, we already have a Zainab present. There are Zainabs who are present in Medina. At the time.
Okay.
And you have one of the stepdaughters or daughters of the Holy Prophet, peace be upon his family. Because there is this debate that does the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon his family, have only one daughter or does he have 4? And normally the list that we have of the names of the daughters of the Holy Prophet, peace be upon his family, are Ruqayyah,
okay,
and Zainab,
right.
Kulthum and Fatima. Now, some said that Ruqayyah, Zainab and Kulthum, these were the names of Khadija's sister Hala.
Right.
That was her daughters.
Okay.
Others said no, these are the daughters of the Prophet, peace be upon his family. And you find that historians differ, people give different opinions, but in terms of the question you've asked, Zainab was a name that was named. Likewise, Kulthum was a name that was named.
Okay.
There were already people with the name of Kulthum. We just mentioned Kulthum as the list of one of the daughters of the Holy Prophet, peace be upon his family. I seem to remember that Nabi Musa alayhi salam's sister was called Kulthum.
Okay.
Mentioned in the Quran, very important in the raising of Moses when he's in Pharaoh's palace in those early years. So, yeah, those names were present for sure. And I would say that Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam had a number of ladies in their household by the name of Kulthum. It's a name they love. I would even go as far as saying that at one time Ahlul Bayt may have had 3-4 Kulthums living in the same house. Now, for a historian, that becomes a bit of a nightmare. It's a lovely nightmare, if nightmares can ever be lovely. But you're grappling with, hold on, is that Kulthum, is that the one who's the daughter of Imam Ali and Fatima? Is that Kulthum the daughter of Imam Ali from another marriage?
Right.
Because if Imam Ali is approached by somebody who says, I want Kulthum, the problem we have is that there are a number of Kulthums who are present.
Right, yes.
And you've got others. Abu Bakr names his daughter Kulthum. Imam Ali names his daughter Kulthum.
Okay.
They say, for example, the Prophet and Khadija named their daughter Kulthum, if we say that is their daughter. So you've got all these Kulthums who are present in the prophetic household.
Yeah.
Or present in later intermarrying.
Right.
Because you're going to see that when you intermarry, you're going to have stepchildren. Those stepchildren may carry names. And so you're going to have a number of Kulthums who are at home.
Yes. Okay.
And what's interesting, if somebody actually, say for example, you get married, you've already got children, you get married again, you've already got a child by the name of Zainab, and you've got your new wife's daughter's called Zainab.
There will be confusion.
It'll be interesting when somebody comes to propose, and we write it in the annals of history that person came to propose for Zainab. Zainab, daughter of your first marriage, or Zainab, daughter of your second marriage. So we grapple with these things historically because some of these names are so common.
Okay. So just to go further into it, Sayyidah Zainab, was she correct me if I'm wrong, Zainab means the goodness of the father. What does Kulthum exactly mean?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, and in terms of the blessed couple, Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam and Fatima Zahra salam, you've mentioned that they were third year of Hijrah, Imam Hassan alayhi salam was buried. Fourth year of Hijrah, Imam Hussein alayhi salam was buried, born. Fifth year of Hijrah, Sayyidah Zainab alayhi salam was born. And you've also talked about, the period between the 6th and the 9th year. Now, I just want to ask, the blessed couple had these 4 children in a period of 7 years approximately. But today we see couples waiting, several years, maybe 7 years as well equally. And does Islam discuss this trend, just to put it in context with sociology in today's world? What sort of, can we provide any guidance?
It's up to the couple when they want to have their kids.
Right.
I sometimes find that there's too much interference from outside,
Yeah.
Either you have the pressure of people saying, what you waiting for, why don't you have a child? It's none of your business. I can't remember this marriage was 3 of us. If it was 3 of us, please tell me when it was 3 of us. And there are people out there who may be well-wishers, but there's no need to put pressure. I remember Imam al-Rada alayhi salam, for years people used to ask him, well, where's your son? Where's your son? Because Imam al-Rada alayhi salam has Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam in his 40s. And so many people were asking, well, where's your son? Well, Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam, he was born and he lived till the age of 8 until his father, until his father was assassinated. But there was always this question that was asked, and it's not nice to continuously be asked. I think the couple can decide. Islam doesn't say as soon as you get married, you have to, for example, have a child. Of course, the increase in the number of children is something which brings pride to the Holy Prophet, peace be upon his family. Even if it's a miscarried child, this is something which brings pride to the Ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi. But you'll notice that not having a child in the early days of marriage occurred with prophets of God.
Right.
So Imam Ali alayhi salam and Fatima Zahra alayhi salam, Allah blessed them that they were able to have 4, 5 children over a 9-year period. Whereas you ask Nabi Zakaria and Nabi Ibrahim how things were not having, a child. It's a trial. Some people are blessed straight away to have children. I think, there are some people who think that when a couple doesn't have children, it's because they're not trying or they're not interested. No, there are some who may be trying, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the best of planners. He decides when the right time is.
Okay.
So we shouldn't force or impose on a newly married couple, maybe a newly married couple who want to get to know each other better. They may want to go traveling, for example, and they feel that maybe a child in their life at the beginning may, it's not going to hinder anything, but they just feel that there's certain aspirations they want to fulfill as a couple, and they certainly want to have children, but they feel that maybe this is not the right time. So there's nothing really that Islam is superimposing on any relationship.
Right, right. Now, just going into her life now, she's growing up gradually, Sayyidah Kulthum. Are there any facts, as it were, or any information that we have that pertains to her making narrations, traditions, as it were?
It's interesting because you would think if she's only a few years of age when her mother dies, and when the Holy Prophet, peace be upon his family, dies, you would think that there's not going to be many narrations from her. But we do have narrations from her. The event of Ghadir, which absolutely nobody denies, is a mutawatir tradition.
Okay.
Oft narrated across generations from different companions, and of the people who narrates the event or the incident of Ghadir is Kulthum alayhi salam. And someone might ask the question, well, she's only going to be a few years of age. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if He wants to inspire and gift a young child with the ability to memorize, the ability to have photographic memory, the ability to be sharp enough to remember details, we've seen examples in our own lifetime and in human history. We don't have to only refer to infallibles.
No.
Yeah, okay, someone could easily say, well, somebody like Nabi Isa alayhi salam, when he says, Inni Abdullah hatani al-kitab wa ja'ali nabiy, okay, that's a prophet.
Yeah.
Okay, put aside prophets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There are also personalities who are not prophets, as you mentioned, child prodigies, geniuses, who are able to excel in mathematics, excel in music.
Exactly.
You look at Euclid, you look at Beethoven, you look at others, if I'm not mistaken. There are people in the world of music and in the world of maths who were geniuses at a young age.
True.
I even remember there was this young Quran memorizer, I think his surname was
Tabatabai.
And he was somebody who had memorized the Quran, not just the Quran, Nahj al-Balagha inside out.
Subhanallah.
You know, and so with Sayyidah Kulthum, the narration is there from her about the day of Ghadir.
Wow.
The greatest Eid for all the Muslims, no doubt. This is our belief. Others may say Eid al-Adha, and we love Eid al-Adha.
Sure.
We love all Eids.
Yeah, of course.
All Eids are, you know, opportunities for us to have breaks and chill and relax and so on. Or some may say Eid al-Fitr, and others might talk about Eid al-Mubahala. But for us, the Eid al-Ghadir is our pride and our joy. It's the continuation of the light of Muhammad and Ali, but not only in the pre-eternal realms,
right?
But now for Arab personages and for human material.
Yes.
You know,
absolutely.
The pre-eternal realm belonged to Muhammad and Ali and Fatima and Hassan and Hussein.
Yes.
You know, these are personalities who Adam uses their name to talk to Allah.
Subhanallah.
They are the people who carry the secrets of God. And the day of Ghadir for us is just the confirmation that all of that pre-eternal light now is manifest. So when you have people out there who come and say to you, you know, prove to me imamah from the Quran, buddy, you know, the Quran has an existence that was years way before we even came here.
True.
There's a Lawh Mahfuz, there's a Kitab Maknoon. You know, that place, in the same way the Quran had an existence way before, those alongside the Quran existed way before. You're trying to come and tell me now, prove to me this incident, that incident. Buddy, we believe in personalities who existed before Riff Raff was created.
Yes, yes.
So,
no doubt.
What you have is that Sayyidah Kulthum alayhi salam is a narrator of Ghadir, a narrator of the Mi'raj.
Right.
Or can we say, in the plural, the ascensions. Because the Holy Prophet, peace be upon his family and our belief, did not just go on one Mi'raj.
That's a good point, actually, because a lot of people think, oh, it was just once and that was it. You know,
I think the Quran indicates in Surah An-Najm that, you know, he saw his Lord in another journey, you know, in the discussion of that other journey. I think I wouldn't be surprised if you could find traditions that show you that the Prophet went on 100 ascensions. You know, the continuation of the growth of the Prophet, peace be upon his family, in all ways, was not just on one Mi'raj. Now, of the narrators, that her grandfather. You know, this is the beauty when we talk on our shows, the personalities we mention. We're not mentioning people who were pagans, worshipping idols for years and then became Muslims. With all due respect to people out there who may be. We're talking the Abrahamic divine lights.
Yes.
You know, this is the beauty of Shi'ism. Other schools in Islam have to really rely on personalities who this guy used to, you know, bow before a statue, and that one used to give za'faran to idols, and that one used to put milk by idols.
Yes.
And that one used to bury his daughter. No, we talk about the house of revelation. We talk about the place where Jibreel, you know, used to ask for permission before he could enter.
The place where the star fell.
Yeah. This is exactly what, you know, the levels that we're talking. You know, and that's why I keep stressing on this. Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam belong to the greatness of the pre-eternal realm. Whatever you do, don't mix them up.
No. There's no comparison
with these figures. So you have Mi'raj.
Okay.
And you have Ghadir amongst the traditions
that
we have.
SubhanAllah. Thank you for that. Now, continuing this theme on inspirational women, and so obviously, you know, we're looking at the figure predominantly on Sayyidah Kulthum, salam, peace be upon her, and the holy Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. Can therefore Muslim women aspire to become mujtahids? And I think this is really key, just to really transmit across to our audience and to female viewers as well? You know, what's the
we have
substance
already,
as well?
ladies who have done amazing work and have reached the level of ijtihad.
Yes.
There's absolutely nothing that should stop you. Any of the sisters out there who think that, Islamic law is the remit for men only. Some of the greatest judges in the world today are female judges. They're experts of Islamic of law.
Yes.
And they've become judges in their respective countries. And I think likewise with the religion of Islam, when you have role models with the knowledge of Fatima, the knowledge of Zainab, the knowledge of Kulthum, and the knowledge of Kulthum doesn't just stop with Ghadir and the Mi'raj. I think what we're going to see is as Kulthum, as she gets older, moves from cities to cities.
Yeah.
She's as good an orator as her sister, as good a poet as her sister, as good memory as her sister.
Yes.
And she's willing to be as outspoken as her sister.
Subhanallah, subhanallah. How did the tragic death of Fatima Zahra salam alayha salam, how did her death, as it were, affect, or what was the impact on Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam's life?
It's huge because Kulthum's so young. As a father, you've got 4 kids. And of course, I use kids only for this example. Al Muhammad are our leaders and our guides.
No doubt.
But when you've got these 4 young ones at home, and with these 4 young ones at home, how old are they? 8, 7, 6, 5?
Yeah.
When you're taking the later tradition, it was huge. It was difficult. It was difficult because Fatima Zahra alayhi salam is no ordinary woman. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is pleased with the pleasure of Fatima and angered by those who anger Fatima, shows you the greatness of this Fatima. And when the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, says, she's the mother of her father. Now, to lose somebody like that is not easy. And I think what Imam Ali alayhi salam does is he recognizes that there is a gaping hole which can never ever ever be covered.
No.
Nobody can replace Fatima Zahra. We make that clear. However, there's nothing wrong with getting remarried. And of the ladies who he gets remarried to is Asma, the daughter of Umays.
Okay.
And Asma, the daughter of Umays, had previously been married to Ja'far Tayyar.
Okay.
And she had then later married Abu Bakr, and she had 2 children with Abu Bakr. And this is where it gets interesting. One was called Muhammad, the famous Muhammad, son of Abu Bakr. And the second was Kulthum.
I see.
So now you've got 2 Kulthums at home.
Okay.
So you've got Kulthum, daughter of Fatima.
Okay.
And you have Kulthum, daughter of Abu Bakr and Asma.
I see.
But living in the house with who? With Imam Ali alayhi salam. So how many Kulthums do we have?
2.
2 Kulthums here. So Imam Ali alayhi salam, Asma was an outstanding personality, possibly someone we need to, cover in a future show, because I think, there's so many lessons from Asma bint Umays. It's phenomenal.
Okay.
Her and her sisters. And I think maybe in the next show we can look at Asma bint Umays, because I think sometimes in our Muslim community we hear that there are ladies by the name of Asma, and many don't know who they're named after.
No.
When you hear somebody who's called Asma, and you're like, do you know who you're named after? Do you know how great Asma bint Umays is? I think Asma bint Umays plays a pivotal role in Kulthum's earlier life.
Okay.
And I think, also Kulthum having a sister by the name of Kulthum, it's very interesting how things are at home, that they grow up close.
Right, okay. So coming to a real sort of crunch point, as it were, in tonight's show. There's a major question mark that exists, as it were, according to various madhabs, schools of thought, around the supposed marriage of Sayyidah Kulthum to Umar. So, Sayyidina, just want you to sort of bring that to light, and continuing from that. Sayyidina, I've read there's a hadith that talks about Imam Ja'far Sadiq saying that this was a usurped marriage. So just the link, as it were, and the validity, and what is it really about?
Yeah, extremely controversial area that has led.
Is it very controversial?
It is controversial. Yeah. I think you got to be realistic.
Okay.
about why it's controversial. Because if the Shia believe that the second caliph had usurped what was the rights of Ali, until today, there are these discussions that people have. Who is the rightful successor of the Holy Prophet, peace be upon his family? We, of course, believe in the mystical role of Ali and the family of Ali. And others believe that no, regular Arab personages who converted to Islam, they're the ones who should succeed. And so what you have is the Shia belief is that those who usurp the rights of Ali have in turn usurped the decision of the Lord, which was announced by the Prophet on the day of Ghadir. Now, clearly there's an issue between Umar and Fatima in Sunni and Shia sources. And so when you're looking at that issue about Fadak, Abu Bakr, Umar and Fatima, there is clearly a war of words. Nobody can deny that. Now, how you want to look at it is very interesting. There are many people try and give different conclusions. Well, one conclusion they try and give is that, well, the first Khalifa and Fatima, they're not infallible, so they'll make mistakes. That's one conclusion. Another conclusion is, he regretted what he did. Another conclusion is that Umar was a man of rage and temper, so it shouldn't be surprising if he was willing to set fire on the house. Now, why then does all this relate to, well, would Imam Ali alayhi salam accept Kulthum marrying the man who in Shi'i belief is the one who usurped the right of Ali and led to the martyrdom of Fatima. And so it's very difficult for certain people to even consider that such a marriage took place. In the South Asian community, the son of the author of the Abaqat wrote a work, if I'm not mistaken, Ifham al-Khusum fi Tazwij Kulthum, where he tried to pose as many arguments as possible that there is no way that Kulthum, daughter of Imam Ali alayhi salam, and I underline daughter of Imam Ali because we had mentioned there's a couple of Kulthums.
Yeah, we just want to make sure that it's the right person.
What you have is that he actually writes this book, and there are others, Milani has written on this, Agha Buzurg has written on this, Najafi Mar'ashi has written on this.
Right.
There are
renowned scholars
who have written trying to provide arguments in relation as to whether the marriage took place or no.
Okay. But just in terms of the actual,
Is it mentioned in Sunni literature?
Yes.
It's mentioned. Right. Is it mentioned in Shia literature? It's mentioned. Right. No one can deny that Umar and Kulthum is mentioned in Sunni and Shia literature. Let's make this clear.
Okay.
Because sometimes you may have some Shia out there who will say, well, this is not in our works, it's in the works of other schools in Islam. No. The same way Al-Hakim al-Nisapuri, for example, Al-Shawkani have narrated Umar wanting to get married and getting married to Kulthum. Likewise, Al-Kafi of Shaykh al-Kulayni. And you mentioned a tradition. What was the tradition you mentioned about the first usurped right, or first usurped marriage?
Yes.
إِنَّ ذَلِكَ فَرْجٌ قَدْ فَصَلْنَاهُ.
Yeah. Yes.
That was an innocence that was usurped.
Right.
Now that's a tradition in Shi'i literature.
Okay.
Al-Kafi, Majlisi, others have narrated. Now, what's interesting is what's happened here. What's going on?
Yeah.
Because if somebody says it's written in Shi'i literature, okay. Let's read what's written in Shi'i literature. Because if you're going to say that because it's in Shi'i literature, it has to be authentic. I can't remember the Shia ever saying any book of theirs was completely authentic. But let's say, it has to be authentic, they're saying. Because it's in our literature, that means we have to accept it. And they say, well, because there's tawatur on the issue.
Okay.
Because it's narrated in different places across generations. So they say that there is tawatur and therefore you have to accept it. Accept what?
Yes.
Okay, accept what? Let's see, what's happened?
The reliability.
Because let's look at exactly what Umar wants. Umar wants Kulthum. And Imam Ali alayhi salam rejects. He says no. And Umar in the tradition, so if you're going to say to me, Umar marries Kulthum, let's see what he's saying.
Yes.
Umar in the tradition, and Sunni and Shia literature mention some interesting things. And Sunni literature has even a mention that Umar exposes the shin of Kulthum to try and feel whether she's adolescent or not. In terms of Shia literature,
Okay.
and the only reason I say these things is because people want to use this now as an argument that, look, if they've got married, that means Imam Ali alayhi salam had no issue with these people. Mind you, Nabi Lut was also willing to give his daughters to people who I think he had quite an issue with. But anyway,
yeah.
Now what you have here is that in terms of the Shi'i argument, so Umar wants Kulthum. Imam Ali says no. Why would you say no if somebody is so revered and so respected and so on? Surely you'd say yes straight away. There should be no difference. Umar goes to Abbas, uncle of Imam Ali, uncle of the Prophet, and says to him that if Ali does not give me Kulthum, your whole honor, which is because of Zamzam, that will be destroyed.
Right.
And I will get witnesses to say that Ali has stolen and will cut his right hand. Now, is that what you want for this marriage? Because it's easy to go online and say that this is in Shi'i literature.
Okay.
It's easy to go online and say it's in your books. It's easy to go online and say therefore there's tawatur and you have to accept this. This is all easy. But then please read. Now someone says wait. But Imam al-Sadiq says إن ذلك فرج قد خصبنا, therefore Imam al-Sadiq is accepting this. Very interesting that scholars of the Shi'i path, they differ even just looking at the meaning of that tradition. One scholar said that word farj, for example, even if it's attributed to Imam al-Sadiq, such words are not the type of words that Imam al-Sadiq would ever use. These are vulgar terms.
Okay.
Others said that إن ذلك فرج قد خصبناه means that to attribute him marrying our daughter, you have usurped her innocence. Right. How could you even put her next to somebody who had differences with her mother and her father?
Okay.
Then you have others who, for example, have turned around and said, I'm just trying to show that it's not something unanimously agreed, and there are arguments for and against and so on. And you have others who, for example, said, okay, if it does take place, is this the light that you want to portray? That I'm going to make a false accusation that Ali is stolen. We're going to cut Ali's right hand. We're going to seek to destroy your honor, which is that, they used to look after, Zamzam was their honor, looking after Hujjaj was their honor for Bani Hashim. That we're going to destroy. Is that what you want to portray?
Yes.
Now, I must admit that there are some people who have even... I'll continue because I know you're giving me the hint about the break. We'll continue straight after the break to see all the different arguments on this. Because I think Kulthum and this particular marriage needs to be just discussed a bit further.
So, viewers, we'll leave you in suspense for a moment or two. We'll be right back for a short break. But do call in to pose your questions. The telephone number is 0203 515 0199 to Dr. Sayyid Ammar Nakshwani. And also... Imam Hussein TV does need your donations. You can have the mediums of paying using PayPal. The WhatsApp number should be on a ticker tape at the bottom of the screen as well. So do call in to make your generous donations. We do need to make good shows. Inshallah, you are being thoroughly entertained, but also learning from our prestigious guest, Dr. Sayyid Ammar Nakshwani. So without him and all the sort of facilities that we can offer, we can't actually put on shows like this until you make, inshallah, some donations. So please do call and generously donate. But for the moment, please bear with us. We're just going for a short break and we'll see you right back. Assalamu alaikum.
Keep the barakah coming every Monday and Friday morning.
Morning Barakah at 9 a.m. GMT time only on Imam Hussein TV.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back. Inspirational Women on Kulthum. Assalamu alaikum. Dr. Sayyid Ammar Nakshwani. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa
I
rahmatullah.
must admit you were really giving us an informative insight, as it were, on Sayyida Kulthum. Now we're just really continuing on the supposed asking for her hand in marriage. And if we just continue on that.
Yeah, so like I said, you know, this whole myth that all of these personalities, you know, were good friends and they all loved each other.
It's just not.
It's just a shambles, really.
Yeah,
You know, I could see that people working really hard to try and continue to
Harmonize
portray
that.
this, and it's just nonsense. And
Right.
you know, the whole nonsense can be seen even in the time of the Prophet, when there's a whole chapter, peace be upon him, his family, chapter called Al-Munafiqun. There's a whole hypocrites everywhere, and so what you have is, you know, Ammar is very clear. If you're looking at the traditions, you know, don't just go out there and say Ammar married Kulthum, therefore there is no problem, you guys can't deny this. But you look at the behavior. In Islam today, we are ridiculed in the media because of coercive marriages. Don't you agree?
Absolutely.
We are ridiculed because of coercive marriages. Now you want to go towards a direction where you're proud of this coercive marriage, and you're proud of false accusations, and you're proud that signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala like Zamzam are to be destroyed. You're proud of all of this. And look, I know that there are certain Shi'i scholars who have reached the conclusion that, well, even if it did happen, this is a coerced marriage. It doesn't shed any good light, and it really just highlights the oppression that took place against Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam. Imam al-Hadi alayhi salam in Al-Kafi, in his ziyarah, Imam Ali says that nobody was oppressed like Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. However, like I said, if you're a historian, you're looking at the house of Imam Ali alayhi salam, Asma's daughter Kulthum is there, and so is Fatima's daughter Kulthum. So maybe one could not deny that a marriage took place to Asma and Abu Bakr's daughter by the name of Kulthum. Someone will say, no, it's Fatima Zahra's daughter. No, it could easily be. Someone says, well, you've got that hadith in ذَلِكَ فَرْجٌ قَدْ غُصِبْنَا, and I think when you're looking at that hadith, there are scholars who just look at that and say, nothing to do with Imam al-Sadiq. These are hadiths that found their way into Shia literature.
Yeah.
I think there are certain scholars who have shown that in the time of Imam al-Kadhim alayhi salam, Muhammad bin Abi Umair has a major problem with hadith from other schools creeping into Shia literature.
Okay.
And said Muhammad Baqir al-Sadr, may Allah bless his soul. He wonderfully examines how in the Abbasid period there were caliphs who were blatantly corrupting the traditions of Ahl al-Bayt to look after certain personalities. Interesting that somebody said to me, well, how could Ali, Amir al-Mu'minin, how could he accept his daughter marrying somebody who you guys view as, as somebody who has oppressed the family of the Prophet, and therefore is he within the folds of the community? Well, he says La ilaha illallah, he says Muhammadan Rasulullah. Allah knows what's in his heart. He prays and so on in front of the public. And he's counted as, as somebody part of the millah of the religion of Islam. But like I said, those who are saying that this is a moment of pride for this personality, I think behavior leaves a lot to be desired. Yep.
Okay. We're going to come to 2-3 questions, but just before we do, I just want to ask. Actually, let's go to the questions first, and then we'll come to the main points. Salam, send my salam to Sayyid Ammar. What an inspiration. My question, just a bit off topic, please don't mind. Can we say the wilayat of Ali alayhi salam in namaz salah?
Doesn't interest me.
Right, fine.
Not interested. Can we say the wilayah of Ali in salah?
Yeah.
Why would that interest me? What was the next question?
If so, why do some scholars say it becomes invalid?
I'd speak to those scholars.
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum, Sayyid Ammar. Muhammad Ali, we want to know if she had any children, Kulthum. Maybe you can come to that later on.
Yeah, we're coming to it.
And another question is, I've heard about Imam Hussein al-Islam's son Zayd. Did he fight in Karbala, and what age was he? So,
that we will discuss in our biography of Imam
Inshallah. Okay. So, just going now, what I'm key to ask, and really it needs to be spelled out, I think, is from a social, from an academic, from whichever angle you want to approach it, why did Umar, what do you think, why did Umar ibn Khattab ask for the hand of, what was the motive?
Motive is that supposedly he wants the kinship with the Prophet, peace be upon him, and his family. He already has it. His daughter Hafsa is married to the Prophet, peace be upon his family. I don't know. Well, that's the reason.
Right. Okay. There's also a tradition from Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam. It's my daughters are for my brother's sons.
Yeah.
i.e. referring to, if I'm not mistaken, Jafar Tayyar alayhi salam.
Yes.
What's the implication of this, as it were?
So the implication is that therefore Kulthum, daughter of Ali and Fatima, marries Muhammad or Awan, the son of Ja'far al-Tayyar, rather than the other marriage that is mentioned.
Yes.
May have been a completely different Kulthum.
Sure. And we've spoken also about possibly, another Kulthum. And
like
so we've explored all the different
I'm only
areas.
discussing this, by the way, because I don't lose any sleep on this issue. Because if you're appealing to these things for someone's greatness, no. There's some crazy marriages out there which doesn't in no way highlight that a person is a great person. That some have the opinion that Sayyidah Zainab's daughter married Hajjaj bin Yusuf al-Thaqafi, arranged by Umar, the son of Imam Ali alayhi salam, brother of Imam Hussein, who let down Imam Hussein. So, that doesn't show that Hajjaj was anything to be praised.
Yeah.
If Kulthum and Ruqayya meant to be the daughters of the Prophet, peace be upon his family, then they were married to, I think, Abu al-As ibn Rabi' and Utbah, the son of Abu Jahl. It doesn't really show that they were meant to be praised. And so, therefore, those who are appealing to these types of things. It's this classic thing that you see going around where if the Imam Ali had his sons named this, then these people must be great. Or if Imam Ali alayhi salam's daughter, then somebody just show me the spiritual supplications that have been left behind by these personalities who you admire. What dua have they left behind?
True.
I can't find any dua You know, some people had to wait till Ghazali before they found spirituality. And yeah, I'm looking for some sort of supplication, how to talk to God. Don't see much there. So stop appealing to marriages and names and just leave me with some spiritual legacy.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
Okay, now Jafar, I've just narrated that hadith from Amir al-Mu'minin al-Islam. Jafar Tayyar al-Islam, he holds a huge
Ja'far
position.
al-Tayyar is the king.
And actually, inshallah, one day we'll try and cover
Ja'far
his
al-Tayyar
biography
is
as well,
the king.
you know, on this great personality, as it were. So he's the uncle, as it were, of...
Ja'far al-Tayyar is the absolute king.
Why?
I adore him, I admire him. You know, Islam spread in Africa because of him. And the Ahlul Bayt loved him. You know, his death, his martyrdom was really tragic for the Prophet. Peace be upon his family, and for Imam Ali, and for Asma, and for Fatima Zahra. And that's why I think Ahlul Bayt, wherever Imam al-Hussein on 10th Muharram would say, is not Ja'far al-Tayyar, my uncle. Imam Zain al-Abidin in Sham would say, is not Ja'far al-Tayyar, my uncle. Ja'far al-Tayyar is just on a different league. Like I said, these people, you know, we're not talking about, you know, personalities who are bowing before idols made of wood. We're just talking pure light here.
Right. Okay, so just on that great personality, Ja'far Tayyar, before I ask or put forward the next question, what does the name Tayyar mean?
Tayyar, the one who flies, you know, and he lost his arms at Mu'tah, the battle of Mu'tah. And so Allah replaced them with wings from Jannah.
And if I'm not mistaken,
he flies in Jannah with wings, angelic, majestic.
That land actually is in Jordan. Yes. That's where the actual battle took place.
Yep, and I hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grants us the ziyarah of Ja'far al-Tayyar. Inshallah.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum, Ya Sayyid. Could you please clear this point for me where someone told me that Kulthum married Ammar was actually daughter of Abu Bakr, who was born after her father's death.
We've done that, okay.
So yeah, we've gone through this, so you will need to go back to YouTube and rewind the actual show, inshallah. So now, just continuing on this, did she have now any children, as it were?
Not that I know of.
And Ja'far Tayyar, he has, you know, the son Muhammad, as it were. What can you say about this? Because obviously one of the questions that was about, did she have any children?
Yeah, not that I know of.
Okay.
I found it difficult because remember, even when you're looking for Kulthum biographies, you've got Kulthum who died 50 AH, Kulthum who died 61 AH, Kulthum who died 73 AH. There's so many Kulthums in the family of the Prophet.
Yeah.
You know, it's very, very difficult. I couldn't find any kids in her marriage. I really couldn't. Maybe some out there have found. Some try to say that, you know, she had a son by the name of Zayd, and if that was from the marriage of Ammar, and you know, there's difference of opinion there.
Yes, the holy Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, they migrated from Makkah to Medina, and after the Holy Prophet's death, Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam migrated, as it were, or left for Kufa. Did she move with?
She did. She and her husband, and Sayyidah Zainab and Abdullah bin Ja'far. So you know they're both married to brothers, aren't they? So Sayyidah Zainab and Abdullah bin Ja'far al-Tayyar, they moved to Kufa, and Kulthum and her husband moved to Kufa. Yeah, they were all living in the same.
And she would have been very young at that time.
No.
Okay.
She would have been in her late 20s.
Okay.
In her late 6 AH, 36, 6, 30 years old.
Okay. And
27, 30, yeah.
The house now of Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam in Kufa. Hopefully viewers and some you know, she followers have been to Kufa, as it were, and have seen the house. But is it exactly as it was then, as it is now, or what can you say about the house?
No. I know that Iraqi tour guide will look for a tip when you go into that house and say to you, here was Sayyidah Zainab and Kulthum was here, and Abdullah bin Ja'far used to go to the bathroom there, and no. It's been rebuilt, redone. You know, it was a country, you know, savaged by war and empires, and I think even just shortly after they were living there, I think within 30 years easily, you've got the likes of Mus'ab ibn Zubair, Umar bin Sa'ad, Mukhtar al-Thaqafi. No one's leaving that house in peace. But it's the same location.
Okay.
Yeah.
We hear of the famous khutbah and narrations, as it were, from Sayyidah Zainab salamu alayha salam. But was the younger sister, Sayyidah Kulthum, outspoken like her older
They've both
sister?
got Fatima's fire.
Yes, I was just going to mention.
They both got Fatima's fire. And when you've got the fire of Fatima al-Zahra alayhi salam, you're going to speak out. And you don't care how powerful the people are standing in front of you. You're going to speak out. And I remember in the lead up to the Battle of Jamal, Aisha was in Basra, Hafsa was in Medina. And Hafsa wanted to celebrate, thinking Ali, Amir al-Mu'mineen, Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam, was going to be defeated. Hafsa, Umar's daughter, was trying to arrange a celebration. Kulthum forced herself to leave her house, go to Hafsa's house. How could you even consider celebrating in this time of fitna, this time where the Muslim empire, Muslim community is going through difficulty? You had already caused trouble for the Prophet, peace be upon his family. Anyone who wants to, go and read Surah 66, verse 3, 4, and 5. And now you're causing trouble for Amir al-Mu'mineen. She wasn't this person who was silent. And those who imagine that Sayyidah Zainab is the only one who was vociferous with her opinions. What Kulthum did to Hafsa that day. Hafsa was, prominent. She's Umar ibn al-Khattab's daughter, the Prophet Muhammad's wife, peace be upon his family. And Kulthum was like, no. I'm Fatima's daughter. My granddad is Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi. We don't come from a genealogy where there's been a few idol worshippers. Where there is a particular line of purity. And so, she's outspoken at that young age. Yeah.
Okay, Dr. Ammar, we have another question. Assalamu alaikum. I was wondering, I don't quite understand this, so perhaps you may be able to shed some light on this. Assalamu alaikum. I was wondering who would be Sitna Khawla. I don't know.
Khawla, well, there's two Khawlas I can think of. Khawla bin Ja'far, mother of Muhammad ibn al-Hanafiya, wife of Imam Ali alayhi salam. And the other one is an attributed daughter of Imam Hussein, who's buried in Ba'albak.
Okay.
Yeah, she has a shrine in Ba'albak.
Okay. Right. So, you've spoken how she was obviously, outspoken and always speaking the truth, like her elder sister, Sayyidah Zainab sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So, I'm curious to actually find out, she must have actually witnessed civil wars, as it were, around the time when Amir al-Mu'mineen Islam was around, as it were. So, and people who fought against her father. What can we, what impact can this have had, as it were?
It's difficult for them. Their father is the most oppressed man in Islamic history. Oppressed during his life and oppressed after his death. After his death, from the people who were jealous of his achievements. During his life, likewise. There's an unbelievable hate to their father, and this hurt the daughters. Daughters, very difficult for them to see their father in pain. And Jamal, Safin and Nahrawan was not easy for them. They've moved to Kufa, you're orphans at a young age when your mother Fatima dies. And then you have to see the Muslim community baying for your father's blood. They're just absolutely envious of his greatness. So it's a very difficult period for them. Okay. But they remained alongside their father, never let go, remained strong, lovely family unit.
Yeah, sure. The Maqdal of Amir al-Mu'mineen al-Islam, we often hear about it, in Majalis and Shahr Ramadan, as it were. And we often hear that, say that Kulthum makes him the last meal as it were. If you can, because this is quite
it is
nice, as it were, and we don't really hear about it much in English. If I say.
It's those difficult moments. We've all heard the story that for his suhoor, what does she put for him? Really basic. For us, for our suhoor, we want a lavish meal. We want meat everywhere. We want to, because especially in London at the moment, when you're seeing that suhoor is
early.
It's early. It's going to be a long fast. And he tells her, when have you known me to eat so much? You want me to have a long day of judgment. Now, the amount of KFCs and McDs and donors we've had, we're going to have a million day of judgments. Because Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam, for him, having some yogurt and some bread and some salt and onion, it's just too much.
Yeah.
And it's a heartbreaker for her. More heart, especially after Ibn Muljam strikes him. To see your dad injured, and he couldn't bear them hurt. Because he knew that both of them were orphans, really young, and so when Imam al-Hassan and al-Hussein would cry next to him in those couple of nights before he died, he would try and tell them, don't cry. But when Zainab and Kulthum would cry, he'd start crying.
Okay.
So with Imam Hassan and Hussein, they're crying because their father's been struck by Ibn Muljam, and you'd have Imam Ali alayhi salam saying that, listen, don't cry, or don't cry. And then with the two daughters, start crying, and it's as if there's a whisper in the ear. There'll be a day you guys are going to have to be very strong. This is not it. There's another one.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't just talking about that blessed month, Shahr Ramadan, as it were. It's clear and it's quite well known that one should actually exercise Salat al-Rahim, as it were. But in our communities, a lot of families don't eat together. Iftari, Sahari, Suhoor, as you mentioned, or don't even talk. What kind of example should we actually learn from these great divine lights of Ahlul Bayt al-Islam? From Kufa specifically, from that time, because we should actually also look to not just read out their messages, but aspire to them and say, what can we learn from?
One of the biggest tests is Salat al-Rahim. I face it, others face it. And you can always have a difficult family member.
Yeah.
But just at least try and ask about them. Not directly, maybe use an indirect source, but that's a basic minimum, that you ask how they're doing. But the beauty of looking at Kulthum, she loved making suhoor at her dad, for her dad, making iftar for her dad. There are some ladies out there today, there are some gents out there, they neglect the well-being of their parents. They don't ask about them. They're not there for them to tell them, do you need any food? Shall I send you something? Are you feeling a bit down, and so on. And when you're looking at their lives, it's not they became stronger, in my opinion, because of losing their mother young. If you look at the life of Kulthum and Zainab, they're very close to their dad. Then they're very close to Imam al-Hassan alayhi salam. And then with Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, they're there till the end.
Yes.
So, and that's just giving us all an example, try and keep your family close. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provides you with tawfiq in every way.
Okay. Now moving on to that point you just mentioned about they're with Imam Hussein right to the end. So let's take this journey to Karbala. And what I wanted to ask is, in the lead up to the event of Karbala, tragic day as it were, martyrdom of Imam Hussein al-Islam and Shahada, peace be upon them as well. Do you think that the holy ladies that accompanied Imam Hussein al-Islam and his sons, as it were, and the Shahada, do you think they know what's going to take place? What is going to be the aftermath impact, as it were? I mean, we've touched on Sayyidah Zainab Salam al-Islam, but what can we say about the ladies, especially about tonight's theme is about...
I think Sayyidah Zainab knows. I don't think the rest know what's about to happen.
Yeah.
I don't even think Muslim bin Aqil knows. I think Imam Hussein alayhi salam knows that this could be the year. I think Sayyidah Zainab has a feeling something's going to go wrong. Or that her brother's just going to be the model of discipline and a manifestation of Allah's attributes.
Beauty.
Of just beauty. So Sayyidah Zainab, I think, has a feeling that what her mother told her, that kissed him on his neck and his chest, this could be the time. I don't think Kulthum knows. I don't think the other ladies know. I think they all think they're going Kufa.
Okay.
Could be wrong.
Yeah.
You know, but I think that's my reading of it. I think they may know from young age that Imam al-Hussein's grandfather said that there will be a day where this dust becomes blood. There's the day where Hussein will be martyred. But I don't know if they know that that's the year. I think that there's doubts about that. And I think that brings even more sincerity. Yeah.
The event, like no event, Karbala, we hear, and I'm pleased to say in English as well now, English majalis as well, thanks to yourself and other scholars and speakers and alimideen about the maqatil, the
maqtal, yeah.
maqtal. Are there any points in that talk about, say, the Kulthum?
Well, the maqtal in Karbala,
yes.
Well, I think Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, when he returns from having buried the 6-month-old baby, and then he laments the fact that his companions have all died. It's as if there's a cry, where are those brave warriors, those great soldiers? And then he says something interesting. If you're asleep, please wake up, because these are the daughters of the Prophet about to be attacked. And when he enters the tent, there is this wailing and so on, and it's extremely difficult for them. But he begins to call them out by name. O Zainab, O Kulthum, come and pledge allegiance to the Imam of your time, that is Ali ibn al-Hussein. So we have a mention of Kulthum definitely in those last moments. Yeah.
Okay, and is there a sermon given by her in Kufa?
The sermon of Kulthum in Kufa. There's 3 who, if I'm not mistaken,
right.
Yeah, 3 I would say gave a sermon in Kufa, and that's Sayyidah Zainab, Sayyidah Kulthum, and Sayyidah Sakina bint al-Hussein alayhi salam. They gave sermons, and the sermons really all overlap with each other. The common denominators are Quran is fundamental. They can quote Quran when they are the house of revelation, so if anyone's going to quote Quran, it's going to be them. And the merits of the family of the Prophet, and a reminder to the people of Kufa that how could you watch all this? Don't you remember that 20 years ago, my father was the one who was here. You used to admire his justice, and now you find it normal to see his family being chained in the streets. She gives an awesome sermon, and I think sadly that sermon has not been read by many of the women, let alone men in our community. I think it's vital for female empowerment and all these movements of female empowerment that those people say, that ladies in the Muslim community are silent. You come and look at Fatima with Fadak, Zainab and Kulthum in Kufa and Sham. There's no better role model to speak out against injustice than those 3.
They'll rock you. Yeah. How did people react seeing the Prophet's granddaughters being chained, as it were? Because, again, for the benefit of sisters and men as well, brothers and sisters, and the global audience, we don't really hear about that, the impact, what they really went through. Because according to some, and I like to agree with a lot of people here, that the real test came about after the Shahada of Imam Hussein.
Karbala began
and what the women had to
Karbala began on the 11th of Muharram, some say.
And we don't really hear about much of that.
Or Karbala began on the 10th of Muharram. There are millions of Muslims in the world who don't know what happened to the granddaughters of the Prophet, peace be upon him, and his family after Karbala. Millions. If Indonesia is the country with the greatest Muslim population, I can guarantee you here on television that 80% of Indonesia does not know what happened to Zainab and Kulthum and the grandsons and granddaughters of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon his family, after Karbala. I'm guaranteeing you in front of the media today.
Yes.
The largest Muslim country in the world population-wise, not Iraq, it's not Pakistan, it's not India, it's Indonesia.
True.
Indonesia is like what, 1/5 of the, 1/6 or whatever.
Yeah.
They don't know. Why don't they know? Because the media can shape what to think,
True.
how to think, where to think.
Program us.
Nobody wants you to talk about Karbala. You know, recently there's been a resurgence where there's been speakers from other schools in Islam talk about Muharram and Karbala Imam Hussein. They stop. What they do is they speak about the 10th of Muharram. Don't mention many details about the oppression that happened in Kufa and Sham. And somehow try and exonerate Yazid at the end by saying, well, Yazid, you know, he felt really bad at the end. And you can't blame Yazid, they say. Imagine to that extent. Even though they say, oh, we're against Yazid, we've never liked Yazid. But you can't blame him because Yazid was in Damascus. It's like saying when Saddam Hussein was in Baghdad and there were people getting butchered in Karbala, you can't blame Saddam Hussein because he's not there in Karbala.
No.
The media can continue to work its socks off. And the propaganda machines can continue. You'll never be able to extinguish Allah's light on earth. And who are Allah's lights on earth but Muhammad and Al Muhammad? Salawatullah wa salam alayhi. So, that period, that is, I tell you, even in our communities, Kufa, Sinjar, Mosul, Halab, Tikrit, all of these cities and more, people don't even know the stops that Ahlul Bayt took. They think Kufa to Sham.
Sham, that's
you can't
right.
do Kufa to Sham. Even today, you can't just about do Kufa to Sham because of a plane. Now, in those days, you had to go through all these cities. The way the family of the Prophet were received in some was good and others was
hostile.
It's hard to talk about. But what's harder is those who feel no emotions when talking about the Prophet's granddaughters and what they went through. Their concern is more just to attack Shia.
So just on continuing that, Sayyidina, what exactly happened, as it were, from Kufa all the way to Sham and the suffering?
Well, they were pelted with stones. They were made to ride with no saddles.
These are the women.
These are the women who,
Ahlul Bayt, and we have to keep reminding viewers because, as you said,
the Prophet said, I ask from you nothing except love for my family. The Prophet, for example, said, I leave behind for you two weighty things, the Quran and the Ahlul Bayt. Even if it's not the Quran and the Ahlul Bayt, you can't accept the Ahlul Bayt, it's not in your mother's milk to accept the Ahlul Bayt, then at least admit that he said, look after the Ahlul Bayt. You know, some people, even what they're born from is not pure, so it's very difficult for them to accept Ahlul Bayt. So even then, accept that he said, look after my family.
Yes, yes.
How is it that 50 years after the Prophet of God has died, 50 years, not 1,000 years, 50 years after he's died, his grandson's beheaded, his granddaughters are chained up in the streets, whipped, slapped, pelted with stones, and people try and portray Islamic history as this really rosy history. Nothing. Give me a break. Who are you lying to? Look, our history is full of rubbish.
Of course.
It's got good moments, but it's full of rubbish as well.
Okay, we often hear about Sayyidah Zainab salamu alayha salam giving that famous khutbah in Sham to Yazid. How did the younger sister, Sayyidah Kulthum, approach Sham? And what happened there with her?
I think there's an interaction at the gates of Sham where she comes ahead of Sayyidah Zainab and says, don't let us all enter from the same gate, and please don't put our brothers' heads in front of us like this. So some people imagine that Kulthum is really silent, quiet, sitting in the corner. Kulthum came right to the front. But Shimr's arrogance did not allow him to accept that Kulthum and the others are allowed to enter from different gates. They were all made to enter from the same gates.
And so she took the lead there.
She took the lead. Don't think Kulthum. Sometimes the youngest in the family is the loudest.
Yes.
Sometimes the youngest, but sometimes it's just the respect for the elder sister.
Absolutely.
There's a respect. That's Zainab al-Kubra. That's Aqilat al-Talibiyin. That is, al-Masal. There's a huge respect there, but Kulthum could speak. Don't you worry about that.
Okay. Yeah. So in Sham now, the ladies, as it were, who are in chains and they've been paraded from town to town. Yep. They've been on saddleless horses, camels, and so on and so forth. Imam Sajjad al-Islam is in chains.
Yes.
So she's there now in Sham. And there's a time when she sees or meets Hind, as it were. What exactly happens? What is there a conversation that takes place there?
Yeah, Hind seems to be this...
because again, we don't hear about any of this.
Hind seems to be this lady who served in the house of the Ahlul Bayt when she was younger. And supposedly after, I think, Imam al-Hussein dies, Muawiyah forces her to marry Yazid. I come back to the media. Media was so strong. They were able to cover up what's happened in Karbala. Nobody knows, it's not like today. Nobody knows. And even I say it's not like today, the media is still strong today. Nobody knows what's happened in Karbala. And Hind's servant comes to her and says, listen, your Majesty, you're going to have to come out. We have a parade of these rebels. And they've been captured from Karbala. And when they've been captured from Karbala, you find that Hind gets ready.
Okay.
She goes and sits on her throne. And it seems this interaction, Sayyidah Zainab looks at Kulthum and says, do you recognize her? And Kulthum's like, no. And she's like, do you remember when we were younger? When she was younger, she used to be in our house in Medina. So Hind sees these ladies whispering. May Allah give our viewers patience. How much had they changed because of Karbala that she doesn't recognize them at all? And she looks at her and says, excuse me, where are you from? And Sayyidah Zainab says, we're from Medina. And she comes off her throne, sits on the ground. And they say, so why? She said, when I was younger, I used to serve in a house in Medina. And she says to her, can I ask you about the house? I don't know if you know them. And Zainab says, whose house? She goes, the house of Ali. Can I ask you about some of them? And she says, go ahead. She goes, can I ask you about Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas? Where's Abbas? His head but on a spear. Can I ask you about Hussein? His head is on that spear. Can I ask you about Kulthum and Zainab? Because if you saw Abbas and Hussein, they've got to be with them. So where are they? And she says, where's Zainab al-Hashimiyya? Bani Hashim, surname al-Hashimiyya. And Zainab replies, if you ask about Zainab al-Hashimiyya, I don't know where she is. If you ask about Zainab al-Masbiyya, the prisoner, I'm Zainab. That's Kulthum. Famously, Hind runs out, her hijab, the veil falls off. And Yazid says, how dare you wear it? Make sure you wear it. And the reply is, you tell me to wear it, how about the daughters of Fatima al-Zahra? Yeah. It's a difficult time in Sham.
Yeah. Okay, we've almost run out of time. So just last two quick points. Back in Medina, how did these holy ladies recover? And I've been prompted to ask you the last question as well. Is it true, as it were, Salam Sayyid, is it true regarding Bibi Zainab, Salam alayhi salam, that we do not know where she's buried? She has a shrine in Cairo and Sham. Which one is correct? And the point about recovery in Medina.
Recovery in Medina, Rabab, I don't think recovered. Rabab certainly didn't recover from Karbala, and I think she took the brunt of the heat of Medina on herself. She couldn't take what happened to Imam Hussein. al-Banin would visit Jannat al-Baqi and find solace there. Zainab would start giving lectures, and Kulthum would be alongside her. As for Egypt and Cairo, I think it's a strong possibility. One of them is Sayyidah Zainab al-Kubra, and the other is Zainab al-Sughra Kulthum. Which
Okay.
one's which? We'll have to leave for another day.
Yes, Dr. Sayyid Ammar, Nakshwani,
Thank you.
you so much. Viewers, we've run out of time. Please do call in next week and do generously donate. The telephone number again, as I mentioned previously, is 0203 515 0199. You can use the medium of paying via PayPal and also the WhatsApp number that appears at the bottom of the screen. But from myself, Muhammad Ali, and Dr. Sayyid Ammar Nakshwani, Assalamu alaikum. See you again.
Keep the barakah coming every Monday and Friday morning.
Morning Barakah at 9 a.m. GMT time only on IMAM HUSSEIN TV.
Supporting Imam Hussein TV 3 has never been easier. Just open your browser, type IHTV.co/PayPal and follow the instructions. We thank you for helping us spread the message of Imam Hussein alayhi salam.
Imam Hussein Media Group, out of respect to its audience, wants to be available anytime, anywhere. Our worldwide viewers, and in particular North America, can watch our channels through Roku TV setup box. To download our Roku app, follow these simple steps. Go onto the menu and select streaming channels, and then choose the category religious. Then you can find Imam Hussein TV from the list. Now choose add channel and then select OK. Done. Now you can find Imam Hussein TV in your home screen and watch all of our channels online.
Imam Hussein Media Group is a virtual university that works on a global scale to spread the true message of the Prophet and the Ahlul Bayt's peace and blessings be upon them. Imam Hussein TV was established 10 years ago in the city of Isfahan, Iran. We work to cover all aspects of religion, Islamic jurisprudence, politics, philosophy, and many more, and aim to bring the public's attention to the righteous Islamic sect, Shia Islam. Our ultimate goal as a media group is to convey the interpretations of the Holy Quran, as well as the traditions and knowledge of the Holy Prophet and his progeny. May Allah's peace and blessings be upon them. Our objectives are to protect and safeguard the Shia youth from the destructive impact of immoral ideologies, standing up against injustice by documenting the oppression of Shia across the globe, as well as encouraging peace and unity amongst the Muslims. To reach our aims and serve the Muslim Ummah, we require a budget that would cover all the expenses for our productions, allowing us to work on different projects. Imam Hussein Media Group is a crowd-funded project. We have no sales nor do we charge for our services. we solely rely on monthly payments, financial contributions, donations, religious alms, and generous gifts. The expenses of each production varies depending on the type of project and the style of filming. There are many elements to a production that requires time and capital. The producer must analyze the costs of the venue hire, equipment, transport, feature fees, set design, staff support, and further additional costs. The Holy Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him and his family, narrated, "The best of people is he from whom people benefit." It is up to you to help the Muslim Ummah come together and help guide the youth in remaining on the correct path of Islam. To take part in this global conquest and to spread the message of Imam Hussein, peace and blessings be upon him, please visit www.imamhussein3.tv or give us a call on +44 0203 515 0199. You can also contact us via WhatsApp, Telegram, SMS, or even email us on donate@imamhussein.tv. Let's work together hand in hand to elevate the faith of our Shia youth.
We don't need a TV channel because we've got mosques.
We have Islamic centres that are always open.
We have schools teaching Islam.
Hijab is part of a school uniform.
Islam has come and it's established here in the West.
And everyone's happy.
They love us, our food, our fashion,
our culture.
The media is always on our side.
We've got plenty of English speakers, plenty of English books,
and plenty of places to go and learn in the English language.
Let's be real.
Let's get active. Be more involved.
www.imamhussein3.tv.
Supporting Imam Hussein TV has never been easier. Just open your browser, type imamhussein3.tv/donate and follow the instructions. We thank you for helping us spread the message of Imam Hussein alayhi salam.